Hola mujeres.
Hola.
En el día de hoy estaremos hablando sobre un topic that is
Un temazo.
yes. Un tema que es, we want to say that it's super, super duper relatable to a lot of the women that are moms specifically. And I don't want to say like just millennial moms, because I think like anybody that's a mom, regardless of your
feels it.
stage in life, I'm pretty sure that you feel it, especially if you work as well. So you're a working mom, and obviously if you have a partner as well. And I think everybody can relate. So the topic of
The
today.
mental load of motherhood.
So yes, we're gonna talk about the mental load que nosotras tenemos que pretty much bear every single day as a working mom or just as a mom, period. Because our partners, if you have a partner, right, they don't necessarily
think of all the things that we do. Our brain is constantly on. Like there's a favorite video of mine that on social media about the mental load, that a mom is on the phone and you just think that she's on the phone watching reels, just how dads do, with nothing else on their mind. But the mom, she's watching a reel, but then she's already thinking in the back of her head, what am I gonna cook for dinner? What am I gonna make for breakfast tomorrow? And what do I have to go buy at the grocery store? So our minds are always divided in so many sections. And this is why we're always tired. Like it's not like
yes, and
our brain never shuts down.
And we really wanted to talk about it today because we are feeling it every single day. And we just felt like it was time for us to talk about it, just because we're always...
It was a conversation, we always talk about something and then we're like, oh, this is a great topic. And this is one of them.
So we wanted to take the time to acknowledge the fact that we know it happens every single day. It happens to us. There's two women right here that go through it every day, and you're not alone. And so at the end of the day, I know we typically give you guys kind of like, because I just want to make sure you guys understand that this episode isn't about like us telling you, giving you tips necessarily.
Just want you to feel that you're not alone. That's the takeaway.
Exactly. Like we may not have like an actual call to action at the end of the episode, just because it's really none, to be honest, other than like maybe continue to talk to your therapist if you have a therapist, or start going to therapy. Y hablen con la terapista or con el terapista about it, and just see what they say and have those conversations, just because like I don't necessarily know, we don't know that there is a way to fix it per se, just because like you can't really, if you have a partner, you can't really change a person. Like a man is a man and they're born that way, I want to say. So
like it is what it is.
So pero hablen con su terapista. I think that's the best way to move forward with. But what I was telling Rosie though, because we were having a conversation the other day, and this is how the topic came about, because I was having a conversation with my husband, and about the things that we needed to get done. And I said to him like, hey, like we need to do this. It was Mother's Day, actually. It was the day of Mother's Day, which, imagine that. And that day, like even though it was Mother's Day, like my expectation was that, and maybe I was expecting a lot, to be honest, because
we
whatever.
never expect too much.
We always do. And I was expecting that day was going to be kind of like a day where I would get to literally do nothing, like nothing at all. Like I don't want to think about anybody. I don't want to think about feeding anybody. I don't want to think about showering anybody. I don't want to, zero. Like my mind, I wanted to be zen. Obviously that didn't work, because I was expecting him to do things that I typically do. And he said, well, I didn't know that needed to happen. So if you want that to happen, you need to tell me. But there's a problem with that, right? You shouldn't have to tell the other person that they need to get something done, because we don't typically do that. We just think about those things and they just magically happen, right? So I think that was the part that I don't know how I got frustrated.
No one's telling us. Reminder. No one's texting us, remember to make dinner. We automatically do it, but we always have to remind our husbands or tell them what to do, because when they don't do something, like, well, you didn't tell me. But then who tells us to do the things?
And it's like we are wired, and I understand, like as women, we are wired to do certain things and always think about things that other people aren't thinking about. But I feel like there has to be a point in which, I don't know, like there's a way to share those responsibilities, right? Like that you're not the only one constantly thinking about, like, como Rosy dijo, like what the kids are gonna eat, or like, oh, que hay que bañar a los niños, oh, que hay que hacer un appointment, oh, que hay que comprarles ropa. You know, because those are things like en la casa, like who buys clothes for kids?
The moms with
Exactly,
me.
like they don't know.
I mean, I know there's other. Not every household the same, but this is our
That's our, this is
experience.
exactly. So we just want to make sure, like putting it out there, that this is our own experience. And while we know that there may be other households where there's just the mom, because you may be a
Or
single
just the
mom,
dad.
or just the dad, and they have to I think in esa position, then they do have to think about all those things, like, but not because they are wired to think that way, but because they're put in that
Yeah,
situation.
they have no choice.
Exactly. So that's when they realize, oh, and I'm like sidetracking here, but I'm like, is that what we need to do? Like, we need to go away for like a whole month and
Okay,
leave them
Jana.
with the kids.
We both have jobs that we travel, right? What happens when we travel?
Oh, we gotta prep, and
Some
we've talked about this
Yes,
before.
but somehow they do things. Well, in my case, my husband does things when I travel that he never does when I'm at home. And I'm like,
Because they don't have a choice.
so if you're fully capable of doing this when I'm traveling, why don't you do it when I'm here? Pa eso tatu. And I'm like,
But also, let's be honest though, because we've talked about this before in other episodes, like when we working moms to travel type of
yeah,
thing, and we did say that we prep before, right?
yeah,
So like, it's not like they're doing
I
everything
know.
porque le sale de aquí. Most of the stuff that they're doing, even when we're gone, it's because we've already told them, right? Like,
Yeah.
this needs to happen, this needs to happen, and then that's why
And
it
when it
gets
gets to
done.
work woman, they gotta call their backup help.
Exactamente. So we just wanted to talk about this because we honestly, like lately, I've seen, and maybe no sé si es porque like I've been going through this a lot, more than usual, I guess. But my feed on Instagram, it's pretty much like,
I
you know
think
how
as
you're
soon
going,
as I send you a reel,
then like everything
your
it starts popping
algorithm,
up, and then
yeah,
every
you
person that
engage
I
with
see,
it. So
exacto, todos los reels que yo veía was about that, like a mom, the the load of a mom, like, the mental load, and like all those reels, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like we're not alone, like this is something that happens every single
it's
day,
real.
and we really need to talk about it. So if you are a mom who goes, like, because we want to, not that we're trying to be validated by what's going on, because we know for sure, for a fact, because we go through this every single day. But if you are a mom that goes through this, and maybe you have, I don't know, maybe there's women out there that may have a tip in how to engage your partner more into like sharing the mental load, reach out to us, because it
Yeah,
would be great to have a conversation with someone who, I don't want to say like someone que lo tiene figured out,
yeah.
pero like
It's a
that
work in
maybe,
progress always.
exacto, pero maybe that has like tips on how to engage their partner a little more on sharing that mental load, because we would bring you in and we could have a
Yes,
whole conversation about this.
you could be our guest for that topic.
Yes, because I think it's very important to continue to talk about this, just so that
I'm sure there's coaches out there for this topic.
I'm pretty sure, yes. So but if there's like a real life person, ¿verdad? Like a woman that goes through this every day, que tiene un partner and that works too, and they share the load, like 50-50 type of thing, and they know what to do, like hit us up. We want to talk to you, and we want to share with the rest of the audience, maybe how it's a little more manageable if you have experience, and maybe you have tips about it too. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that, because in our I guess like in our relationships, these are we have two different dynamics, and I know Rosie and I had shared this in multiple episodes before. Pero in my relationship, my husband is very 50-50. Like physically, he helps me with so many things at the house that I honestly cannot complain about. Like if he does the dishes, he does laundry, he like anything he knows he needs to do, or I may ask him to do, he does it. So I cannot complain about the fact that my husband helps 50%. Like
Mhm.
it's literally equally. Or I mean, sometimes it has to be 100% because I'm not home, right? Um, so that's not the part, like I appreciate that, and I know that I'm blessed because I have someone that helps me with the load 50% as well. So no me puedo quejar de esa parte, but I still obviously like have to remember, the fact that like I'm constantly thinking about the mental load of like all these other things need to get done, and then therefore I have to tell you that they need to get done. But then there's the other side, that like you may have someone that you need to share, you cannot share the mental load with, it's just you, but also may not be helping you 50% at home either. And I
Mhm.
know Rosie has a little bit about that dynamic at home. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Bueno, yeah, basically it's if I mean you talk about doing dishes. I know my husband's fully capable of doing it, but the only way for him to do it is if I'm not home, um, or the whole bath routine. But then I also understand like, hey, he has a more demanding job, but still, it's like sometimes you feel like, okay, hey, we're both parents. Like sometimes, the way I look at it is like, oh, I used to say like, well, can you take care of the kids? And that's something else. That's like another topic. But you're not taking care of the kids as a dad. As I say, you're being a dad, right? So those are a lot of things that, like, okay, the mental health of women, but then it's like, okay, I know being present, but then physically, oh, making sure that they're fed, taking a bath, or taking to school, picking up from school, and stuff like that. So it's, I think you learn through the years. I could say it has gotten better, and I've had to learn. I was just telling Jana of how now this year he's gotten more school field trips than I have, but before I used to feel like I used to put that on me a lot. I'm like, well, he has a demanding job, but then culturally, the machismo is very
And you would
real.
make excuses about that too.
Yes.
The fact that like,
So
oh,
and
he has
it's
a more
like
demanding job. It's like, no,
so
we both
then
have
it's
a
like I've
job.
had to learn of like, hey, sometimes there are priorities out there and the kids grow up and this is how I've had to like just think about, okay, what am I doing to make it different instead of complaining? So that's a little bit of me. Like, yes, I don't have the 50-50, but I've also been trying to do a mind mind shift. Okay, how can I actually kind of make him realize, hey, this is how it's good for the kids to see that. It's not because I'm asking, like I'm not, because they feel like you're telling me what to do and you think you own me. No, it's like we're doing this for the kids at the end of the day because we want to show them like what is a family and also of how do we want them to be once they get married and have their own families. So that's also like the other mental load that I carry a lot as a mom is how do I want my kids to see the whole how parenting is supposed to work.
Yeah.
So
Family dynamics.
yes, that's where I'm at right now. Like I'm not there like how Jana's relationship is, but I've been trying to put some of it on me. And I know you're probably listening and say, well, what about him? But I've had to learn how to choose my battles because, as Jana said, we can't change someone, but we could do some type of influence and talking like the why behind it. So
And I think like if you set expectations, like I know you're working on it right now, but if you set like little, little by little, like those expectations that like, these are things that like you're gonna have to take care of because
yeah.
I'm not always gonna be here, and they need to happen. I think that's also important. Pero again, at the end of the day, it's I think it's a constant, this topic, or this whole burden as a mom, and having to think about all the things, not just mentally, but also physically having to do them as well, even like when you have a partner or when you don't have a partner alone,
Mhm.
because I can imagine how much more difficult it is for a single
Mhm.
mom to have to do those things and have to bear the load, but also mentally, but also physically as well. um, it's something that we need to talk more about, to be honest, just because not, it's like you know, when people say, and I don't want to like obviously like compare it, but you know, when people say like, oh, I didn't know that so many women have miscarriages. Like we've talked about this
Mm-hmm.
topic before. And then the moment that you have a miscarriage yourself, then you start finding out, you know, by through other women, like, oh yeah, I had one too, and I had one too. But it's like, oh, then why don't we talk about it
Mm-hmm.
often? Like then I feel like I'm alone
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm going through the whole thing alone when there's so many other women that have gone through that. So I feel like this topic is some sort of it's similar to that, that like we don't really talk. It happens so much and we're so used to it that nobody really wants to talk about it, and I think it's important because
That's why we're so tired all the time.
exactly.
Now I'm gonna start
Exactly.
telling my daughter, "Mommy, why are you so tired all the time?" And I'm like, "Cause I'm always thinking."
Basically,
That's what I should say
and
to
it's
her now.
true. I mean, a
Instead of
woman
I'm like,
talks
"I don't
more
know, mommy."
and probably talks more and listens more an entire day que lo que un hombre.
Yes, because it's totally different. Like my daughter could be, because my son he already kind of knows. Like, okay, like mom and dad don't want to listen to every single detail of what I just did when I was playing. But my daughter, she still sits, so she wants to say every single detail. And
And
if
who do they go to
and
for
then
those
she
things?
says, and then she'll ask you, so what did I just say? Because she loves to test her parents on if they're listening. Because she's a type of she says, I don't
I
like to repeat
I
myself.
need to make sure you're listening to me.
And if I say, well, because I didn't understand this part. But the point is that I get almost 90% what she's saying, while dad'll probably only get like 50% what she says. So like we also
We tend to
that's
be the
even
ones that, yeah, the
yeah.
kids also want to share everything with.
Yes. Mommy this, mommy. I'm like, but your daddy's right there. No, but I
I
want
know.
you to do it.
Te cambian el nombre
Or
y
I
todo.
want it,
Te
or I
quieren
want you to
te,
listen.
te acaban el nombre y todo. Because it's just
Yeah.
like, mommy, mommy, mommy this, mommy that. And it's like, and there's sometimes there's times in mi casa que I'm just like, I wish one day que yo sea papi instead of mommy. Because literally, like, tu papá puede estar sentado ahí next to
Yeah.
me and you choose to come to me when he's right there.
Yeah.
Or he could be in the kitchen and you're asking for water and I'm in the couch, but you wanted to come to me to ask for water when your
Yeah.
dad's in the kitchen. Like help make me, help make that make
Do you
sense.
want to share a little bit of how you have prepared? Like you were just did a mini vacation. Now you're gonna do a bigger vacation. How is that mental load going for you? Because I wonder vacation gets really stressful when you have to leave
That
the
is
house for a
true.
couple of days and you're like, oh my gosh, why can't he just like
Yes, help me
think
think
of
of
that?
Oh, and that is so yes, I can talk about this for days. And that is
Just a
so
little bit. I want to
frustrating.
say let's just leave it off with that. Like I'm thinking like what can we talk about that's like, oh my gosh, that's not everyday routine, but like
Yeah, even
vacation.
vacations. See what I'm saying? Like even that, like you have to, and it's frustrating because it's like not only do you have to pack and prep things for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have to do it for your children because your partner would not know what your kids need. And even though we have these conversations about like, hey, we need to pack and the kids need like we need to pack a bunch of stuff, and he'd be like, pero qué tanto que yo necesito, you nomás necesitan ropa y underwear and things like that. And I'm like, really, you think that's it, that's all they need? What
Yeah.
about all this and this? And so he's just like, oh, I mean, I just thought that.
Because when we go on vacation, what does the dad do? Did you bring this? Did you bring that?
Uh-huh, exactly. It's like, did you like pack it?
No.
Did you pack
That's what you're for.
exactly. So it's very frustrating to have to manage all of that.
Another
And then
example of the mental load.
exactly. And then the audacity is get like, but I can pack it. Si tú me dices que empacar. And it's like, then
Yeah.
what's the point? I don't have to tell you what to pack
Like
because
the
I'm still thinking about
real
it.
that I told you. Oh, the husband gets home. Did you make dinner? She's like, no, I forgot. And the husband's like, but you know that you gotta make dinner. She's like, we didn't remind me. And then she's like, but why do I have to remind you? You know everyone needs to get fed. She's like, well, you didn't text me to remind me. So the whole point there was that
Put yourself in my shoes.
the husband is
That's what I have to do.
exactly. So the wife is saying like, I'm
Yeah.
constantly reminding you. I'm constantly texting you. So why do I always have to remember everything when you don't constantly text me or remind me to do something?
That's facts.
So now
Fair.
vamos a cerrarlo aquí porque I think you guys
You get the
now
point.
are fully relatable on that the mental load of motherhood is
It's
real.
real, it's a struggle, and I don't know that it will change, to be honest. Or
This is
that
why we're tired all the time. Our
exactly, or
brains never turn off.
exactly, or that there's a solution, to be honest. Pero at least you know that it is something that we go through. Pretty much every woman that has kids has to go through, and we're in it together. So again, like we said earlier, though, if you do have tips that you have a
Yeah.
partner and they share the mental load with you that you want to share with us, I mean, reach out, let us know, and
Yeah.
we're
Or
happy to
even
host
share
you.
on this episode's comment too
Yeah, we're happy to
section.
host you, and we can talk a lot more about this topic because we are curious to to know if there's anything we can do about that.
We want less gray hairs. Like we have gray hairs
Oh
already.
yeah, we do for sure. All right. Well, gracias por estar con nosotras hoy. We hope you know, again, enjoy the topic. It's real, and we're here to listen if you want to comment on it. Hasta la próxima.
Ciao.
Ciao.